Hi there, it's Salts. Thank you for all your support on my first video, and I just wanted to start with my next video on why avoidant breakups are so much harder than, let's say, the traditional breakup of an anxious with an anxious or an anxious with a secure. If you read through comments, and I know my experience, the breakup with an avoidant appears and feels to be a lot more traumatic, much harder to get over than, let's say, traditional breakups. And this won't be all cases, but once again, just reading from what people say, it definitely seems to be that way, that people struggle so much more to get over an avoidant person than that of other relationship styles. Now, a lot of people that I see in the comments will be discussing the fact that avoidant breakups come out of nowhere. One day we were great, the next day she was gone, or he, she, and they didn't see it coming, etc. And that's possibly one of the reasons why they are more difficult, because they come out of the blue. That's for my second breakup with the same person. That's how it was. One day was great, the next day gone. But I wanted to question that for other people and love to get some feedback on this, because a lot of people, if they are anxious, I wonder if they went through the same scenario as me, where realistically throughout the entire relationship we are actually ignoring a lot of warning signs that this isn't as great as we believe it is, and when it does come out of the blue, it was actually always building up. And I know for myself, I chose to ignore so many things and convince myself, no, this is the best relationship, she is the best person for me, this is amazing. When reality, it wasn't true. It's easier to reflect back afterwards. It's hard to see it at the time, but you get a lot of things or warning signs. Now, I call it the puppy dog effect. Now, if you can imagine a dog, doesn't have to be a puppy, but a dog, and when the owner gets home, they're always happy to see that owner. They're jumping with joy. They're so excited, and no matter, usually with a dog, and even in the saddest cases when they're neglected, they're lonely, they haven't been treated right, no matter what, the dog is always happy to see you. Now, I associate this with the anxious and avoidant. The anxious being the puppy that's always so excited to see the avoidant. They come home, oh my God, you're home, I'm so happy to see you. We're always excited for them and to be with them. Whereas the the avoidant is more like, I want my space, I want my distance, and you're just then obviously more even keen to get closer and closer. Give you a couple of examples. In my relationship, my partner traveled, and would often go away for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. And just before she was about to go away on a trip, and I was going out to work, I'd want a big kiss and a hug, just to say see you later for a couple of days, and I'd get no, I've already put my work clothes on, and I don't want to mess up my my lipstick, for example. And so there'd be a soft little pat on the back and see you later, nothing affectionate. And that would leave me really, really upset, and feeling like, oh my God, I'm not going to see her for 4 days, and that's all I got. And then even if it was a day later, I'd give her a call and I'd say, I'd miss you. Well, that was about the worst thing that I could say. I'd get back something like, what do you miss me for? It's only been a day. And then 3 or 4 days later, when they'd return home, I'd once again be excited to go, oh my God, I'm just so looking forward to a big kiss and a hug. I'd go for it, and I'd be like, no, I'm so exhausted, leave me alone. And once again, you're just deflated. This is that puppy dog effect. We're always looking for that affection, and it's just not there. They want their distance, even if it's been some time between you guys. That was my example, because once again, she did travel a fair bit, and I don't know if other people experience similar things like this with day-to-day relationships where people are 9 to 5 and things like that. I didn't have that as a shift worker, and we both were. But the concept is exactly the same, where you're constantly looking for a little bit of confirmation of your relationship and some love, and that they feel the same way as you do. And as anxious people, of course, we tend to push more, and then the more we push, the further they go away. Now, I learned a lot about this from my first breakup with this same person, and I'd learned to pull away and do or try to do all those right things and not talk about commitment issue or topics, and not come on too strong. But I was still looking for what I would regard as normal things in a relationship, which, kiss, hug, affection, I miss you and I love you and all of those things. And my partner didn't have the ability to say I love you. She didn't have the ability to post things on the two of us on the social media pages and things like that. All those things build up your anxiety. But same thing, there's signals and signs of red flags that, these people are always ready to run. You don't see it at the time. You put blinkers on and, you convince yourself that this relationship is perfect. So sometimes when these things happen suddenly at the end, they're not so sudden. They're once again build-ups, and perhaps we're choosing to ignore these things going through it. I'd be interested to see other people go through similar or same things. From what I read in the comments, that is the traditional relationship. And as anxious people looking for affirmation and confirmation of their relationship, we can sometimes stretch the boundaries. But like I said, even my situation the second time around, I'd left it to her, and she was constantly the one actually talking about moving in together. She was the one that did move in the end, talking about rings, talking about families and babies and the whole lot. I was surprised, to be honest, too. But I thought, wow, this is it. This is actually happening. She's changing for the better. She's actually gripping the idea of a long-term commitment. But nonetheless, from one amazing day together to the next day just sitting on the couch, no, I'm sorry, it's over. Out of nowhere. It still came no matter what I had done, even after learning about avoidance. And that also shows you as an anxious can do a lot of work, but unless they do the same work, and you'd hear this from a lot of the other coaches, it's got to be a two-way thing. You've got to meet. You can do almost everything right, but if they haven't addressed their issues, you're going to find that it's most likely going to be a breakup at some point. So why are they so much harder? Yeah, this is a lot of the reason. My first break up with her, my heart, my soul, everything torn out, that empty feeling, that feeling of, honestly, I can't go on without it. It was difficult to breathe, let alone anything else. I did the therapy, I did the medications, I did all the things, obviously the YouTube and the videos for the coaches. Time is all that really helped. It was time and me basically at that stage. We got back together and I learnt a lot from that. I'll do a video on that as well, how to get back together with an avoidant. Honestly, I think it's easier than people think. For the ones that want it, other people will be going, oh my God, you're crazy. But the first time, nobody could have told me anything different. I wanted her back no matter what. I could not imagine my world without her. I had to do it. I don't regret that I did it. The second time, it wasn't as big a shock. I was more prepared for it, and I called it a day as well. I've gone, I can't do this again. I can't put myself through this again. And that's up to people to decide if they want to try that 3 or 4 times. By all means, I'm not here to judge that, but I'm just talking about my experience. But in a wrap-up, I wanted to pretty much address that, yeah, they're painful because a lot of people think that it's sudden, but are they really sudden? Is not the entire relationship stressful? I knew that only afterwards that I'd realised that when I reflected back, my anxiety throughout the entire relationship was at a peak. I was always second guessing myself. I always thought I'm doing something wrong, or I'm about to do something wrong, or I'm about to say something wrong. I sat next to her at a cafe once, and this absolutely bothered her to no end that I didn't sit opposite her. Why would I want to sit so close to her and not opposite her on the other side of the table? Things like that. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. Even little, sometimes if I crossed my legs, do you need to do that? Why do you do that? If I held my arm in a certain way, do you really need to do that? Why do you do that? I'm like, so I was always getting put down, and this would obviously crush me from my own confidence, and I'd be like, okay, there's definitely something wrong with me. So I started to always self-reflect, and at that stage never look at her as a problem. I was always, oh my God, she's just trying to help me, or this obviously annoys her, so I'm going to fix it myself, and try to be a better person for her, etc. No, the problem's much bigger than that. We need to open up and really look at this as a two-way street, and going, well, is that fair for somebody to comment and criticize every single thing that I do? Is that healthy at all? And of course it's not. So, circling back around, when the breakup happens, most likely will if they are avoidant, is it really that much of a shock? Now, I can't take away how people feel. If you're obviously crushed emotionally, like I was the first time, when and even the second time, mind you, it was still very, very difficult, and a lot of time has passed, and I still feel a lot of hurt and pain, but I'm in a much, much better place, and have healed dramatically. And hence I want to share my experiences, and I'll do a few more videos on that, and I hope people can take things away from it. But I'd like people that are going through it to reflect back and go, is it really, or was it really a healthy relationship to begin with? Was there a lot of red flags as we as anxious people, if you are anxious that is, even secure, are ignoring just because we want it to work so badly? Because there are so many highs, don't get me wrong. These are people that we connect to on other levels that we possibly haven't with anybody else. There's things in common. The good times were great. When you are on a high with an avoidant and everything is going so well, that's the reason perhaps that the breakups are so hard, because the highs are high but the lows are low, and this drastic difference between the two takes you on this enormous roller coaster ride that when it does end, you're just in shell shock. What just happened? It was so amazing, it was so good. But for me, those highs were so short. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, what are they? A minute long? But you probably spent the whole day at the actual amusement park. So when you look at that as a relationship, that period of highs is so much more minimal to the actual duration of the relationship, and the things that you've also got to do together, live together, pay bills, or make relationship works. The highs, the lows, be there for each other, all the other things that happen. And are you getting what you need from that person? Are they comforting? Are they supportive? Are they close? Are they, I didn't get, at times when they felt like it, I would get those things. As an anxious person, or what I would even call a normal person in a normal relationship, those things, if it's a two-way street, should always be there on tap for each other, not just when they feel like it, and not just using the excuses that they would, I'm too tired, or not now, or just whatever it might be. So once again, summing it up, hope some you people got something from this video, or agree, disagree, please feel free. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment, all the bits and pieces. I do love the comments. I'm still learning, and I still want to learn, and I'm hoping that I'm passing on some things as well from this that people can take away and reflect on and go, hey, it's not just me, and let's, as a community, let's see if we can be there for each other. Thanks for watching.